You know what's crazy? The richest people in the world are changing what they buy. They used to fight over rare Ferraris and limited edition Lamborghinis. Now they're collecting SUVs. And I'm not talking about your regular luxury SUVs. I'm talking about million-dollar machines that are faster than most supercars. Six-wheeled military monsters that cost more than entire houses. Electric powerhouses that'll destroy a Porsche 911 inches a drag race. The SUV has completely taken over the luxury car market. And most people don't even realize how dramatic this shift has been. Today, I'm breaking down the 9 greatest SUVs ever created. These aren't just expensive vehicles. Each one represents the absolute peak of what's possible when engineering meets an unlimited budget. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why smart collectors are choosing these over traditional supercars. We have to start with the Lamborghini Urus Performante. There's simply no other place to begin this conversation. When Lamborghini first announced they were making an SUV back in 2018, the internet absolutely exploded, and not in a good way. People were furious. Purists were outraged. How dare Lamborghini make a family car? This is the death of everything the brand stands for. But here's what everyone missed. Lamborghini had already made an SUV before. Way back in 1980, they built the LM2. People called it the Rambo Lambo. It was a military-grade beast with a V12 from a Countach. Completely insane, totally impractical, perfectly Lamborghini. The Urus takes that same wild spirit and makes it modern, makes it refined, makes it actually usable. Under the hood sits a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, pumping out 657 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque, asterisk, 0 to 60 miles per hour, 3.3 seconds. That's legitimate supercar territory. Top speed, 190 miles per hour. In a vehicle that seats 5 people comfortably with room for luggage. But here's what really blows my mind about this thing. The Urus weighs almost 5,000 pounds. That's massive. Yet somehow it handles like a lightweight sports car. How is that even possible? The answer is technology. Serious technology. Carbon ceramic brakes that can stop this beast on a dime. Rear wheel steering that makes it feel smaller than it is. Active torque vectoring that puts power exactly where it needs to go. Adaptive air suspension that adjusts hundreds of times per second. And here's the number that proves everything. The Urus Performante can lap the Nürburgring faster than most dedicated sports cars from just 10 years ago. Think about that for a second. This isn't just fast for an SUV. This is genuinely fast by any measure, any category, any comparison. The Urus Performante proved something revolutionary to the automotive world. You don't have to choose between performance and practicality anymore. You can legitimately have both in the same vehicle. That's why it's sold out everywhere. That's why it became Lamborghini's best-selling vehicle almost overnight, and that's why it absolutely deserves the #1 spot on this list. The Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG 6X6. This vehicle is completely insane, and I mean that in the absolute best way possible. Here's the backstory. Mercedes originally engineered this beast for the Australian military. They needed something that could handle literally the most extreme terrain on planet Earth. Scorching desert sand, steep rocky mountains, deep mud, whatever you could throw at it. So Mercedes took their already legendary G-Class and decided to make it even more extreme. How? By adding 2 more wheels and military-grade engineering. 6 wheels, over 8,300 pounds of raw capability, 5 locking differentials for ultimate traction, portal axles that lift the entire drivetrain higher for massive ground clearance, and a twin-turbo V8 making 536 horsepower. But the specs only tell part of the story. The real capability is in what this absolute beast can actually accomplish. It can climb 45-degree slopes. That's almost completely vertical. It can ford through 39 inches of water. That's over 3 feet deep. It can cross the Sahara Desert like it's just a regular parking lot. Mercedes only built 100 of these monsters. Between 2013 and 2015, the original price was around $500,000. That already sounds crazy, right? Want to know what they're worth today? Over $1.5 million if you can even find one for sale. That's triple the original price. Why such insane appreciation? Because the 6X6 represents something you genuinely can't buy with just money. It represents complete and total invincibility, the ultimate capability, the absolute peak of what's mechanically possible in an SUV. Now here's the part that makes me laugh every time I think about it. Most owners never actually take this thing off-road. They drive it to fancy restaurants in Monaco. They park it at luxury hotels in Dubai. They keep it in climate-controlled garages with other million-dollar toys. But that's completely missing the point. The 6X6 isn't about what you actually do with it. It's about what you could do with it if you wanted to. It's about having the most capable capable vehicle on the entire planet just because you can. That's the ultimate power move. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan. This was an absolutely massive moment for Rolls-Royce. They'd been building the world's finest luxury automobiles for over a century, literally since 1904. But they'd never, ever made an SUV. And when you're Rolls-Royce, when your entire brand reputation is built on absolute perfection, you cannot afford to mess this up, not even a little bit. So they spent years engineering every single detail, every component, every surface, everything had to be perfect. The base price starts at $350,000. But here's the thing about Rolls-Royce. Absolutely nobody pays the base price, ever. By the time you add bespoke, custom paint colors, special leather from cattle that were raised at high altitude so there are no insect bites damaging the hide, hand-woven lamb's wool carpets, personalized wood trim cut from specific trees, custom embroidery, and all the other endless options, you're looking at $500,000 to $600,000 easily. But what do you actually get for that enormous amount of money? The quietest cabin ever engineered in any production vehicle in human history. The sound insulation is so incredibly, ridiculously effective that the engineers had to add subtle artificial engine noise through the speaker system. Why? Because without it, drivers literally could not tell whether the engine was running or not. That's not an exaggeration. That's actually true. The suspension system is pure engineering magic. It uses cameras mounted on the front of the vehicle to scan the road surface ahead. Then it adjusts the suspension in real time to absorb every single imperfection before the wheels even reach it. Rolls-Royce calls this the magic carpet ride. And believe me when I tell you, it absolutely lives up to that name. Inside the cabin, you're not just sitting in a car, you're sitting in a handcrafted masterpiece. Every single surface is assembled by master craftsmen at the Rolls-Royce factory in Goodwood, England. The Starlight headliner alone contains 1,340 individual fiber optic lights that are meticulously hand-woven into the roof to recreate your personal night sky. You can even specify the exact constellation pattern you want. The rear seats offer more luxury and comfort than most people's entire homes. Massage functions, multi-zone heating and cooling, power-deploying tables, refrigerated champagne coolers built into the center console, lamb's wool floor mats. The list goes on forever. The Cullinan proves something important about what luxury actually means. It's not about how fast you go. It's not about horsepower numbers or lap times. True luxury is about removing every single compromise, every inconvenience, every discomfort between you and absolute perfection. This is automotive excellence at its absolute peak. Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, the daily supercar. Let me tell you a story about courage and taking massive risks. Back in the early 2000s, Porsche made an announcement that shocked the automotive world. They were going to build an SUV. The reaction was absolutely brutal. Automotive journalists wrote scathing articles predicting it would destroy the brand completely. Longtime Porsche enthusiasts were furious and felt betrayed. How could the company that built the legendary 911 possibly make a family vehicle? But Porsche's leadership saw something that nobody else could see at the time. They understood that their customers absolutely loved Porsche performance, but they also needed something more practical, something they could drive in winter, something they could use with their families, something for everyday life. So they took an enormous gamble and launched the Cayenne in 2002. And you know what happened? It became Porsche's absolute best-selling vehicle almost immediately. The profits from Cayenne sales funded the development of the 918 Spider hypercar, multiple generations of GT3 and basically every other modern Porsche icon you can think of. But today I want to focus specifically on the most extreme Cayenne ever created, the Cayenne Turbo GT. This is Porsche pushing their SUV engineering to the absolute limit. 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 631 horsepower, 626 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.1 seconds. seconds, top speed of 186 miles per hour. But here's the number that really, truly matters and proves everything. This SUV lapped the Nürburgring Nordschleife in 7 minutes and 38.9 seconds. Let me put that incredible number in perspective for you. That's faster than the Carrera GT. You know, that mid-engine supercar masterpiece from 2004 that cost over $400,000 and was built specifically to be a track weapon. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment with your favorite SUV.